morning, beautiful people. Daniel with Phoenix Solutions here with you today for yet another client acquired from the lead source provider. So again, this is another client of mine, 100% free and clear of mine. I mean, I purchased this client, so we're gonna try to go make a buck off of it. Should be a beautiful day. It's a drywall patch contract, so I'll be going in there to patch a little piece of drywall. Beautiful thing about drywall is it's fairly malleable in terms of being able to work with it. You don't have to be super precise, and you can still make it super pretty. The more precise you are, the closer you get towards making it pretty, quicker and easier. 25 sound. I want to be over here. Okay, so a little bit about this. I'm really excited to be where I'm at with my business, because where I'm at currently, I'm starting to develop my business, resource and income, and build my business up on my own clientele. Now, having said that, like I said, I made the decision to stop trying to develop activity using LaborWorks. That really wasn't getting me anywhere. LaborWorks was not putting me with enough clients that I could develop into activity down the road. So I bit the bullet, and I decided the best thing to do for my business and what I'm doing with Phoenix Solutions, shifting, was to pursue client generation through a lead service provider. Oh goodness. Looks like we're in for a slow ride. That gives me an opportunity to talk to you guys, I guess. So because my ultimate goal is to get out on my own, establish my company, make a name for my company. That just reminded me, I didn't bring my cards along with me. Gosh darn it. Oh well. It's really, really important to try to start developing that as quickly as possible. And if your strategy that you've implemented early on in that game is not, wow, the sun is really washing me out. If the method that you've chosen to use early on in the game is not leading to that kind of activity, resourceable, developable opportunity, then you need to make a change. And that was simply the case with what I was doing with LaborWorks. It was not leading to enough opportunity to generate. And so, like I said, I made the decision to switch up my strategy, and I started resourcing my opportunities through a generation provider. I've talked about TaskRabbit in the past, and what I'm using now is similar to TaskRabbit, but altogether different. What I'm using now is a service called Thumbtack. Similar to TaskRabbit, it has its drawbacks and it has its perks. But for those of you following along, trying to do or follow my journey so that you know what to do and what not to do. Let's chalk LaborWorks up as a failure. If you want to circumvent and develop your business quicker, you're going to have to bite the bullet, and you're going to have to use a service like Thumbtack or something like that. It's just going to take you forever and a day to try to get in front of potential clients without a service like that. So, talking about that a little bit, like I said, I've spoken before about what I feel the drawbacks of using TaskRabbit are in terms of sort of their internal rating system and how they operate. Thumbtack operates similarly, but different altogether. And the way that they do things, we're going up this way. The way that they do things is basically they provide a lead. All right, they provide a lead, and much like TaskRabbit, it comes through the app. You're able to contact a client, mail out details, get scope of project, and you're able to determine what kind of resources you're going to need to complete the job. But what is different about TaskRabbit is that rather than establishing sort of a projected rate of pay early in that, then you'd go out based on that projected rate of pay that you had established setting up the account, and then doing the work based on that on sort of an hourly. This app, you purchase the lead. So you're actually spending money for the opportunity to go out and work. And from what I hear, there's a little bit of risk involved. I hear there are a couple of times that you could spend money on a lead and that not convert for you. So I understand there is a little bit of risk involved on this platform, but one thing that you do get is you get the opportunity, once you collected the lead and you've paid for it, to contact that client, run through the scope of the project, and establish your own pricing for that project, which I've been listening to a couple of the more prominent business development, business ownership mindset coaching channels, such as like Andy Frisella, and one that a good buddy of mine got me on called The Contractor Fight, and sort of taking to heart their methodologies on how to correctly price your project so that you are not upside down on any project. And the real benefit of what I'm doing with this handyman service is these are not super high dollar projects. They can be, but the ones that I'm starting out with are not. They're simple little jobs that I'm 90% confident going in there that I can do, and I can do to a high degree of quality, which in and of itself right there really reduces my risk on these jobs. It improves the chances that me doing what I'm doing, I'll be able to complete the job successfully and to a high rate of quality, providing the customer satisfaction. And with this model, I'm able to price my project in a way that is much more in line with reality in terms of actually being able to turn a real profit. Now, before, I can't say that I wasn't turning a profit, but the way that it was structured was very limiting in terms of being able to do that in the long run. In the short term, yeah, you could bang out 3-4 clients a day. You could roll over $89, $150 a day, kind of depending on your setup, depending on how the cards fell on a given day. And over the course, you definitely had an opportunity to turn a profit. But when you flipped around and you started taking a look at taxes, and this is an entire, I'm going to need to get over, that's where I'm at, buddy. So there you go. All right. Then if you, and here's the thing, like, especially like I've said in previous videos, I'm still very new to this. I'm a collective 3-4 years into this whole business development adventure. And so I'm still learning a lot about how to operate a business, how to do taxes, the whole 9 yards. And to be honest with you, I was not financially preparing myself adequately for taxes before. And that's something that in this sort of quote new iteration, I really endeavor to do right. That's going to be incredibly important. You got to understand, and I've touched on this in previous videos. Owning and operating a business is a set of skills from being able to establish opportunity, which unfortunately at the moment my ability to do that is really dependent on someone else. I'm resourcing that from other entities, which, let me back up for a minute on what I was saying about a set of skills. Being successful in business, you got to understand going into it that you're not going to have it all. So it is perfectly legitimate, especially to give you more probability that your business will be successful. It is perfectly legitimate to outsource your needs until such a time as you have the capacity and the flexibility to really dive in and learn how to accomplish that side of the business for yourself. Like if you're year 1, year 2, and you don't have the bandwidth to sit down and figure out how to do business taxes, by all means, go hit up a tax professional and let them handle it. You're better off doing that than getting into this and finding out that you don't have what you need to, really make yourself successful, and in, approaching your taxes, you find yourself upside down in the long run because you didn't know what you were doing. definitely want to put that out there, and that I think comes from my own experiences and mistakes. I'm kind of hard-headed in that regard, especially when you're in a situation like me where you don't have discretionary funds to really do that sort of thing. You're like, well, this is an opportunity for me to learn something, and it's an opportunity for me to save money. So you put in the effort. Sometimes it doesn't pan out the way that you intended. But I suppose over the course of anybody's journey starting a business for themselves, there's going to be things like that. The real goal when you approach unknowns like that is to minimize the impact that it will have on you financially and your business overall. I'm really, that was sort of a long-winded way of getting to, I'm really excited about how this lead generation thing is working out for me. It really seems to be banging out opportunities kind of quicker than I'm ready for it, and I've had to think about what they're doing that doesn't fit what I'm trying to do very well, and find strategies to minimize the impact of how they do business, which is both it can be annoying. It can be financially detrimental if you don't play your cards right. In my case, I came up with a way of doing business with this entity in a way that is beneficial to me, and that doesn't, roll me under. And that's incredibly important. You want to, the very minute that you start seeing the impact of a decision that you made to do business with another entity, you want to really strategize on how you can put that in your business's benefit. Because if they take liberties, they can really roll you under, and your objective is to do what's right and what's healthy for your business. Well, anyway, I just wanted to drop a little bit of mindset as I roll my way out to this client this morning, and I'm looking forward to bringing you guys along. I'm always trying to improve my filming quality as I go out on these engagements, and really trying to improve. I'm finding that it's a skill unto itself to be able to come up with interesting commentary, while at the same time resourcing mental functions to be able to approach the work I'm doing. Bear with me, guys, on that one. I know it can probably be a little bit frustrating while you're watching me work, trying to both figure out what I need to do to accomplish what I'm doing, as well as probably just listening to me sort of ramble as I try to approach the job at hand. The more that I do of that, the better and more interesting my content will get. So I'm sure that here in the relatively near future, we can all look forward to an improved quality of content there. So at any rate, I'm gonna talk to you guys later here in just a second, and we'll be breaking into this project. All right, talk to you guys in just a minute. Daniel with Phoenix Solutions. You know, this right here is one of the aspects of this type of work that is what I love about what I do. And quite certainly, it is one of the aspects of what I'm doing that I have sorely missed. When you're out on a project, oftentimes, especially when your operation is going, you find yourself in a situation where you have stacked appointments, and oftentimes you will have, let's say, overestimated the amount of time that you'll require to complete a project. And for strategic reasons, you'll find it, let's say, important to get yourself into the proximity of your next client early. And sometimes it can be a half hour early. Sometimes you're in proximity of your next client 2-3 hours early. And that always provides an opportunity to find an open space and go walking around in that open space. And you get to see really incredibly beautiful territory. This is just, it's second to none. And I really value that, because with my living arrangements, with the life that I live right now, with my financial position, I have places surrounding me that I can get out and walk at, and they're definitely like, fun places to walk around, don't get me wrong, but the fact of the matter is, the region that I live in, it just doesn't have money, and that's why I can afford to live there. But when you have a client that you're going to support that lives in a much more financially available community, the open spaces that you have access to are so amazing, and it's so gratifying to take advantage of those open space areas. In the interim spaces, while you are out, working basically. And the awesome thing is, these moments right here are opportunities for you to catch up on emails, contact clients for follow-ups if you have those, take care of sort of the admin side of your business. And it's such a beautiful opportunity. If that right there is your office, seriously, if that is your office, you're living life, right? Like, that's a pretty cool office. especially like on a day like today. I'd wager it's probably 72 degrees right now. As you can see behind me, there's not a cloud in the sky. Okay, except for that one. But otherwise, like, it's so beautiful out here. And the region is absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the things right here that really makes doing this, developing this business, really worthwhile. We'll talk to you later, Daniel with Phoenix Solutions. I guess there is a second part to what I was just talking about. The second part is, some of you, I know, many of you who are watching my videos that know me do already know this, but for those of you that are watching my videos that don't know me, I'm a man of God. My relationship with my father is incredibly important and very, very motivating in terms of why I do things and how I do things. And this is an interesting thing. I find that when I'm trying to take charge of my life and trying to do things to get ahead my way, I find that there's a lot of impacts that has on me, both financially, emotionally, and mentally. And it's more on the emotional and mental side of things that I want to talk about for just a second. I find that when I try to take charge of things and I'm not following the path that my father has paved or is paving for me, the track that he's trying to lead me down, I find that there's a lot of very necessary resources. There's very necessary resources along the path that is laid out for me that aren't there along the path for when I am trying to take charge of a situation. And long-winded as that was, wrapping it back around to what I'm doing out here, one of the real effects that being in a space like this has on me, and the opportunity that I have to be in it, is really, really mental and emotional. It's very incredibly stressful trying to transition from an income generated by traditional employment into establishing an income generated by your own activity and efforts and energies in a more entrepreneurial capacity. Very stressful. Now, the reality of it is that there are comparable, let's say, stressors in traditional employment as well. And I want to be clear here. What I'm about to say applies to, for those of you that adhere to or for those of you that coincide with my position, what I'm about to say applies more to following God's will for your life than it does specifically to developing your own business. What I find is that God's will for my life seems to be developing my business. And that's why I'm out here doing what I'm doing. But be that as it may, what I find is when you actually apply yourself to the path that God has laid out for you, there are resources along the way that allow you to alleviate a significant amount of stress that you do find along the path of, oh crud, I thought there was a connecting path over there. Along the path of following down God's, direction for your life. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of challenges along the way. But God throws out, sort of like, I used to cross-country run, right? And every now and again, when I was cross-country running, we would do these marathons, right? And so there'd be hundreds of us, and we'd all start at one location. There'd be sort of a mapped out course, and it's funny because you get into that, the marathon starts and you start running, and what happens is at certain intervals through the track, through the course, there are established checkpoint areas that have ice water, Gatorade with cone cups that selected officials are manning. And as you pass by those little areas, they'll hand you a little cone cup filled with water so that you can keep jogging and hydrate. And that's, I think, a really good sort of mental image of what I'm talking about here. When you're pursuing the path that God has for you, what you're doing is difficult, it's grueling, it's really exertive, both mentally, sometimes physically, whatever. But God has little checkpoints where He has, water that you can grab and get some hydration and get a little boost from. And this is one of those checkpoints. I hope that wasn't too rambly, but I really enjoy sharing that kind of perspective, because I think for whatever path that you're trying to develop, part of being successful is cultivating all of the resources that you have available to yourself to make yourself successful in doing that. Daniel with Phoenix Solutions, we'll talk to you in just a minute. All right, so here we are on premises. This is the hole that we're patching. This is the one in question. So what we're going to do is we're going to start. Let me see if I can set this up well. I'm going to start by getting a good view of the project. I think that might, it's going to be just barely there. That'll work. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by cleaning up this here. It looks like we want to try to make this a little bit cleaner. Looks like this material is sort of falling out. So, honestly, what we may want to do is this. We're going to go ahead. We're going to remove. What I've determined is that there is no wall material up above and behind this ridge right here. So we're going to cut a patch for that entire region. Now, all I'm doing is cleaning up the edges here so that we can get a clean seam. That's my goal right here. Just get a clean seam. Clean up these edges here. Alright. That looks like it should be an adequate region. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out what we're looking at for our patch. So it looks like 9 3/8 by 11 and let me measure this over here. 11 1/4 is what I'm going to say. So, take our piece. See this? 9 3/8 by 11 1/4. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, you can kind of see what I'm doing. Go ahead and use this to use as a straight edge. Whoop. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just doing a rough cut. And then, or I guess a score. And then I will cut the piece out of the material. All right. What I do, score down this back edge. Like so. And now, supporting, hopefully I can get a good view of this, supporting the back of the panel that you just made with the palm of your hand. Smack. And that gives you your patch right there. Score it off, and we have our piece. Alright. So we want to just check for fitment. This would help if I make my orientation correct, huh? Ooh, this might just be a little bit tight. I'm going to have to score up just a little bit there to make that fit. That looks adequate. Yeah. See if that works. Oh. My measurement. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this down, this side down here, just a little bit. Okay, we need to bring this edge out just a touch. Okay, there we go. All we're trying to do is get a nice fit with what we got going on right now. I do believe that's going to be money. Now, just back this out a little bit. What we're trying to do is just flush everything up nicely. Okay, let's see how we want to do that. Looks like our piece is going to fit great. Let's see if I can just grab a hold of it somehow. Hold that back out. That can work. out. You know what? That'll give us a little bit of play. So I'm gonna just back these screws out so that we have a little bit of play underneath this panel. And then we'll be able to place our piece adequately. That's what we were after. That right there. Perfect. Now, there's our patch. This here is drywall tape. Just going to go ahead and tape up our drywall so that the drywall flushes up. When we apply mud. So I think we're going to want that right there. You know what? See if we can do something. Here's this. I wonder if we can take what we're gonna do. Instead of that right here. Doesn't need anything pretty. Is take this piece here, kind of behind here, as a way of putting some sort of tension on this piece on the back side of it, so that it is much more easily flushed up with our spacing. I think that'll work pretty adequately. There really isn't anything to screw our panel to on the back side of it. So I think that is going to be an adequate method of stabilizing it from the back side. Now, to get our tape to do what it's designed to do, honest with you, I'm just not happy with that particular piece right there, so we're going to replace it. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. Trying not to be too disruptive. All right, our patch panel is in place. Now it's time to secure it. Okay, these are always fun. There we go. Alright, now all we're going to do is spread on our mud, join up our wall piece. This is where the magic happens, right here in this part of the project. It is incredibly satisfying to do this, at least for me. That's my personality type. And it is where a project like this really comes together. Just starts out rough and it becomes a process of refinement. Bring it down and make it something beautiful. Which is what's so pleasurable about it. It's like a Bob Ross painting. Up with your starting parameters. Then what you do is you go back over everything. A second time. Everything beautiful. Like I said, this part of the project is where the magic happens. Oh, come on. Everything starts out rough and you refine it. Oh. Of course, it helps if you don't goof yourself up like I just did. And just clean these lines up. Yep. Oh, come on. You sneaky little lines. Oh. And oh. Oh, here's a little spot that I want to address. Layer in some more mud right here. My aim is to bring the surface of the mud up in the location of the tape so that the joint is smooth. Smooth, but not blobby. All right. And that, hopefully, that's a beautiful patch right there. Alright, we finished up the drywall patch. It went pretty smoothly. I confess I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I had a burning itch to wait for the drywall mud to dry, to give it a sanding, to give it a second coat, wait for that to dry, give it a sanding. But unfortunately, my client was operating on a little bit of a time budget. That patch had to happen this morning so that she could go ahead and get her washing machine installed in that area. So there really wasn't a whole lot of time to wait for that drywall mud to dry and clean it up. But hey, that's the way it goes. She, I showed her the patchwork, and she was happy with it. I, left her with the sponge and told her, basically how to smooth things out, what to look for, stuff like that, so that if she felt the need to go ahead and do that cleanup work, she could do that. No issue. She was very happy with my work, and that's the important part right there. So I was happy to have that job. I'm really excited that I'm now operating my business on my terms, generating, or at least working generated leads that are specific to Phoenix Solutions, and really just generating activity for Phoenix Solutions. That's hugely exciting. Had a conversation with another lead generating service. Carrie, I believe is her name. Yeah, Carrie. She's pretty cool. We had a pretty good conversation about the service that she provides, and hopefully here in the very near future I will be operating through them as well to pipeline more activity. And that's the drawback about what I'm doing and the way that I'm doing it right now is my activity, my pipeline is really limited by my finances. And so it's like a double-edged sword, because you got to have a little bit of money to get started, and that limits you to the amount of work that you're able to put out there. And you go do a job, and that'll you'll get paid for that, but then that has to just be dumped right back into generating more activity. And so I really want to highlight that experience, because a lot of people who aren't self-employed or self-employed minded might hear that and think about that and think to themselves, well, that's very brutal, going to work and not getting any money out of that for yourself, for not generating or not being able to resource any of the money that you generated for yourself, and having to dump that money right back into making money again. That seems brutal. Like, when do you get paid? And that's legitimate, that's true. But here is where it's important to have a little bit of a mindset shift. Here is the difference between the mind of an employee and the mind of a business owner. You understand that as a business owner, what you're doing is you're investing. It's a process built on it you know, so you have to start with something. And then when, which way do I want to go? I'm cornered here. When you get activity generated, you reinvest into your company, you generate more activity, you reinvest into your company, you generate even more activity, and at a certain point, you're generating enough activity that you can then start to resource finances out of the activity that you're generating. And obviously, during this whole process, you gotta live. So that's why it's important when you're the small guy like I am right now, and you're doing this, to have, what I've done is I've set up a prepaid card that I've linked with my account, and every job that I do, I take a certain amount of money that I can afford to I take that out of my earnings and I put that onto the card, and I use that money to buy more leads with. Now, because of where I'm at financially, I'm not able to invest a whole lot of money into more leads. That being said, the more work that I do, the more of that money that I'm making can go towards my own finances and give me a little bit more financial freedom with my finances. The more money I can send over towards buying leads and earning business. And I'm already seeing in just the 3-4 jobs that I've done, I'm already seeing a little bit more freedom with my financial ability to put towards more lead generation. And that's an exciting place to be, because, you know, the more work I do, the more money I make, the more money I make and am able to pay off my stuff, the more money I have to put towards work, and it's a slow ball, but that slow ball has a tendency to speed up dramatically once you get past these early initial phases of what it is to build your company. So it's a heck of a strategy game. If you're a strategy game nerd, if you enjoy StarCraft, if you enjoy any of the strategy games out there, Command and Conquer, whatever, you're sick and tired of doing what you're doing, this might be the right thing for you. You know, this is the greatest game ever played, owning and operating a company. So, you know, it really is an enjoyable game. But at any rate, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for coming along with me. Thanks for, hopefully you guys learned a little something on you know, how to do a drywall patch, and, you know, you get to see a little bit more of the various things that a handyman can do. And, you know, if you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. You know, like, subscribe, all that good mumbo jumbo. And thanks for coming along with me, y'all. You guys have a wonderful day. Daniel with Phoenix Solutions.